Say it again in English, please.
There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet. They were drinking water out of the toilet, and that was them knowing a congressional visit was coming. This is CBP on their best behavior, telling people to drink out of the toilet.
Did you see somebody actually do that while you were there?
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw, which was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, saying that a person told them the border agent said to drink from inside of the toilet bowl if they wanted some water. Now, there's a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. We got to talk about that specific statement and how it's not true and how it most likely unfolded. We got to talk about the conditions at the border stations, more specifically in El Paso, Texas, where AOC was at. We got to talk about her behavior in the border stations and much more. But let's stay on point and talk about what we just saw. Now, she's saying that there's no running water, but somehow there's toilet water to drink. It doesn't make any sense. If there's no running water, there can be no water in a toilet. First thing. The second thing is, somebody did drink from a toilet, but not because a border agent told them to do so. I'll place a picture of what probably was in that particular cell or area to begin with on the screen before you. As you can see, there is a toilet bowl where you're able to use the restroom. And then on top of the actual toilet, there is a water fountain. That is not uncommon. That's in every jail, prison, almost every jail and prison in the United States of America. It makes sense. I mean, when you're in your bathroom at home, you have a toilet right next to the sink. You can be on a toilet and touch the sink from the toilet while you're sitting down. So it's not necessarily a far stretch to have the sink on top of the toilet, because right by side anywhere in your house. What probably happened was the person was saying agua for some water, and then the agent said el baño, the toilet. Not saying drink from inside of the toilet, which the person did because they did not understand how to operate the faucet that was in the actual area. It's very simple. So no, people are not being told to drink from inside the toilet bowl. And no, you cannot have a situation where there's no running water, but still be water inside the toilet to drink. It doesn't make any sense, but I digress. Let's talk about the conditions of some of these border camps, border facilities, whatever you want to call them, border stations. I'm seeing some video and pictures and people talking about, oh, these are deplorable conditions. We got to get them out of here. We got to rescue them. There was one picture of ladies just sitting down looking bored. You know, it's like, okay, can we get our cell phones back? Can we get back on Facebook and talk to our friends in Guatemala? That's kind of what it appears to be like in that picture. They don't look to be in any kind of real distress. They're just sitting there kind of waiting. They're being fed. You know, I don't see anybody looking like skin and bones like a concentration camp would be. But again, I digress. They look well fed. They look like being taken care of. They get medical treatment. I'm not seeing any kind of emergencies right here. I'm just not seeing it. And then they're showing pictures and video of a shower. And they're saying, look at the shower. It looks bad. I mean, the shower looked fine to me. I didn't see any obvious signs of dirt or mildew or mold or any such thing. I've seen words coming up as a youngin in houses I've lived in. All right. So that didn't look all that bad to me. It might have been some paper on the ground, but that's about it. You know, it didn't look really that bad. Okay. People are trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. You had AOC. Apparently, according to some eyewitnesses, she was screaming at agents in the actual facility after she came out of, I guess it was a holding cell with some women in there. Just talking to them, talking about some had their kids taken away, this, that, and the third. They've been in there for a long time, almost 2 months, all this and that. And I think she came out, started screaming and crying to just be dramatic, all right? It's not uncommon for a woman to be dramatic. Don't get triggered. I'm just being real. That's a normal thing, especially with these politicians that are just trying to make up stuff and lie to get their way and to get their point across, all right? I saw a border agent speak on one of the shows today, and he was saying that AOC had pretty much backed herself into a corner. She had called these centers concentration camps. So when she goes there to actually see them for herself and she does not see any kind of concentration camp stuff happening, she's got to try to find things to make her point be relevant, like the whole toilet bowl lie, and also just being really dramatic and over the top with her reaction to everything that's going on, because she knows that'll get reported, that'll get out there, and it'll just kind of drive her point home, which is all just totally bogus. Now, the reason, or part of the reason why she was in El Paso, is because the Congressional Hispanic Caucus from the Congress went there. That seems pretty interesting. A bunch of Hispanics on the left going to a border station filled with Hispanics that the left want to vote for them. So are you there on a humanitarian mission? Are you there to try and get votes from people that may become Democratic voters one day if you get your way and amnesty is passed? See, you're just trying to plant seeds for the future. It's all about maintaining control. It ain't about people just living in dire conditions, all this, that, and the third. It's about trying to maintain and gain power. And beyond that, people are crying and hollering and screaming and yelling on the left about how bad the conditions are, how it's an emergency and we got to do something. We got to get it for hiring parts. We got to spend money, all this, that, and the third. But I was told by these same people that the so-called crisis at the southern border was manufactured by Donald Trump. It's not really real.
Tonight, the president tries to sell a crisis that the facts tell us does not exist.
Okay. If Donald Trump bringing these folks across the border, and I mean, what's really going on? Barack Obama had these same centers that were built for all these people to come to. So, I mean, I don't understand how this has been going on for a very long time. Barack Obama was a president while he deported a lot of people and held people in the same so-called cages. But now all of a sudden, you want to kind of change course. First, under Obama, it wasn't even talked about at all. It wasn't even the issue. Then under Trump, it became a non-issue. Now it's the issue again. I'm just really confused. I mean, I think we should pick one particular stance and stick to it. Either it's an emergency or it's not. Now, if you listen to Trump and what he has planned, the best course of action would be to build the wall. Simple, because a lot of these people are coming across the border illegally. They're sneaking across on foot. You got some that are violating their visa, but that ain't the case at the border. You know, if they're violating the visa, they will already be in the interior of the country. We're not talking about visa violators at the border. We're talking about those that are coming on foot through coyote or whatnot. That's what's happening. So obviously there's a crisis on the border and we got to do something to fix it. Just allowing them to come in, giving them carte blanche ain't going to fix it. All you're going to do now is end up with more illegals in these low income areas, you know, black areas. It's funny how you had the Congressional Hispanic Caucus there. They're advocating for more illegals to come in. Where are they going to come? Are they going to come to AOC's house? Are they going to come to Julian Castro or anybody else's house? No, they're going to go where? To the black community, to the ghetto, to a lot of these low income white areas. Where are they going to go? Okay. Low income areas in general, regular everyday people's houses, if not necessarily low income housing areas. They won't come to the congressional members' houses in some county off in the cut where they got 200 grand, 300 grand a year to kick around, let alone their other business monies that they get coming into their pocket every year. My whole point is that these people on the left, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, are just trying to get votes. They're trying to get attention. They're trying to maintain and gain power. That is it. That is all. Some folks trying to become the president, they're going to be out there as well, screeching and hollering. Okay. But if you're going to screech, if you're going to holler about the toilet sink fountain combination, then why not say that same thing about people that are in the penitentiary in jail right now all over the good old US of A? You're more worried about non-citizens than you are American citizens. So if I was one of AOC's constituents, I'd be like, all right, look, you are representing New York. That is not anywhere near El Paso, Texas. So why are you down there worried about them? Worry about us. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that these people from the left and the Democratic Party are down in El Paso, Texas to try and virtue signal, to try and appear to be the biggest and most bestest individual when it comes to dealing with the illegal immigrants? Or am I wrong? Am I a bigot? Are the conditions deplorable? Should there be no toilet sink combination? If that's the case, then why has that not ever been a topic up until right now? And if somebody drank from a toilet bowl because they do not know how to operate the sink, the actual faucet for drinking water in a particular place, whose fault is that? Nobody made them do that. And then I got to add one more thing before we close. There was a report about some kind of Facebook page with some quote unquote vile things on it. I'll play some of those vile things on the screen before you. It does not really appear to be that much. And some folks in the group may not even be border agents at all. It could be regular normies. People are just trying to throw the border agents under the bus. First responders, police officers, military, everybody under the bus because they don't want these border facilities to exist at all. They want open borders totally. So anybody from anywhere in the world can come through and it's never a problem. It will only be a problem to these people when some real deal violence that came through illegally approaches their front door and causes an issue. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.